Let's talk about the professionalism that you need to exude when you're interviewing for a high road training partnership or you're interviewing directly for a job opportunity. I went to a hiring fair today for the United States Postal Service. Shout out USPS. All right. I know they're having a little bit, some challenges maybe with Amazon. I'm not really sure what's going on there as far as packages, but people are still going to be using USPS. It's more expensive to send mail through UPS and FedEx. Excuse me, they're private corporations, even though it's called Federal Express. And or the United States, this is the United States Postal Service, and so they're hiring, and they have a hiring fair consistently, like over and over again at the hiring fair that I go to on Florence and Central here in Los Angeles. That's deep in South LA. All right, when I talk about South Central, we're on Central Ave, heading south. Where does the term South Central come from? But they've rebranded. It's South LA now. Ooh, okay, all right, okay. So let's do it. But I went to their hiring fair today, and they're hiring constantly because they constantly need workers, and they're hiring people paying jobs between $19 an hour all the way up to $34, $35 an hour. So now you can make $67,000 at the peak opportunity and place if you're working at the United States Postal Service. And if you're in a 2-income household, that's 6 figures. Okay, now you're making significant amount of money, and that's a great amount of money to be able to raise a family. There you go. You got the house, you got the spouse, and you got 3 kids. You live in Los Angeles, yeah, you're probably still in the hood, but I promise you there's still lawns, dogs, and people having a great, amazing time and experience living in the hood in LA. I'm in Manhattan Beach right now. This is beautiful. This is my dream space. This is where I get to walk around the beach, have a good time, enjoy myself, really take time to center myself. And I'm at a point where I understand what's happening on the front lines of the employment industry and how people are really looking at how they can get jobs. I work for a nonprofit where we focus on helping people get pathways to careers that can actually last a long time, especially if you don't have a high school diploma, especially if you don't have a college degree. And for example, I work in a community called Florence Firestone Community. It's an independent, or not independent, let me say unincorporated aspect of LA City. And what that means is that, what I mean by, in LA County, it's an unincorporated community within LA County. So just a quick note on that, on what it means to be an unincorporated section of LA County. LA County has 88 cities within it. 18 million people living within those 88 cities, and there's still pockets and spaces, streets and neighborhoods that aren't a part of one of those 88 cities. And so rather than make a neighborhood that is 10 blocks wide and 3 miles long a new city, it's like we'll just name it a neighborhood. Florence Firestone, for example, Florence Graham if you're on Google Maps and you can see it that way. We'll just actually support it with our county supervisors, so shout out to District 2, that's where I'm at. Great leadership in District 2. They're really out here looking to make pathways for people to have careers, even if they don't have the educational background that we think leads to a career. Because when we say career, what do you think of? Right? You're thinking white collar, you're thinking office, you're thinking, you get to drive your Audi and your BMW and you get to go to work and, hey, John, how you doing? You're in your suits, things like that. But you can have a career without even wearing a suit. You can have a career that puts you into a better position of life where you can still make your $25, $30, $35 an hour. And that's just talking entry-level opportunities or your first or second promotion within these opportunities. That can be within hospitality, so think culinary arts. That could also be within healthcare. Think elderly care as an entry point before you decide to be a nurse, or a CNA as an entry point. You could be an assistant to the CNAs, right? Those are so many entry points, and then you can learn while you earn and be able to get to a place where you're able to actually continue to progress your career, continue to learn about the next level of your career, and qualify and certify yourself. And then those certifications can be directly tied towards employment opportunities. And that's why I'm a big fan of government programs such as the High Road Training Partnerships. But you have to show up professionally. So when I say you need to show up at 8 o'clock, you need to be there at 7:45. You need to be there early. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, you're fired. This is a job. This is professionalism, and we need to count on you. How many people go to a store expecting it to be open at 10 and the person's late? Now you gotta wait till 10:15, 10:30. I'm leaving and going to 7-Eleven because at the mom and pop shop you didn't show up on time. That's exactly what's going on. And so that exists at every level of professionalism. You need to be early, not on time. You need to be early. Second thing I want to point out besides showing up early is you need to be professionally dressed. At this point in time, put your white tees and your t-shirts and your jeans away. If you're a man, go ahead and get you some slacks. Okay, get you some slacks and a polo. I'm in a polo right now. Wear slacks and a polo every day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 6 p.m. I don't care what I'm doing, where I'm going. I could be at home, I could be at the office, I could be out in the streets, canvassing and activating a neighborhood because that's what I do in my nonprofit. I'm activating the neighborhood, talking to residents, making sure I'm connecting and collaborating with people. So I'm always ready to hop on a Zoom call and look professional. I'm always ready to go into a meeting last minute and I'm dressed for success. You're not dressing like the success that you want to have. You're dressing like you're casual, and a casual dress leads to being a casualty, and you don't want to die in this economy. You don't want to die in these jobs. And I don't mean like true death, but doesn't it feel like the end of the world when you don't have a job? Doesn't it feel like the end of the world when you don't have income coming in? Doesn't it feel like the end of the world when you're not sure where your next set of money is going to come from or your next paycheck's going to come from and you're looking for opportunities, right? Like for those of us that want to work, it could feel destitute and there's really no opportunity that's going to exist beyond today or next week or next month. And you're looking at your savings going down. And for those of us who's been at the bottom with no savings, wondering what's going to happen, you're giving it up to God and you're just looking up like, take me now, Lord Jesus Christ, help me, take the wheel. You know what I'm saying? It brought me back to God. I've been there. I was down and now wondering what's going to happen, and I had to humble myself, drop down to both knees, start praying to God, memorizing the Bible so I can embody it. I don't have to read the Bible when I memorize it. And you need to memorize these principles. Show up early and always dress for success. So you want to start wearing slacks, comfortable work pants, and a polo. Trade your white tee in for a polo. Trade your black tee in for a polo. Go to H&M and drop $15, $20 on a polo. Go get 4 or 5 of them. Amazon has a deal, $35, $40, so you can get polos with the dry fit for those of us like myself who like to come to Manhattan Beach and go for a quick 2-mile walk. You need to be prepared. Okay, es necesario, es muy importante para tu vida, para tu empleo. Necesito be prepared. All right, I love you. I wish you the best. God bless.